There's this episode of Bob's Burgers that I can't stop thinking about. It's The Plight Before Christmas from season 13. The episode is beloved by the fans. It's currently the highest rated episode of the entire series on IMDb, and by a pretty large margin. Not only does it fall under the long list of excellent holiday episodes that Bob's Burgers always seems to nail, but it has this climactic moment at the end that is heartfelt, sincere, and surprising. But it also might be the perfect example of just how far Bob's Burgers has fallen off in recent years. Let me explain. Years before creating Bob's Burgers, Lauren Bouchard was working on shows like Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist, Home Movies, and the short-lived Lucy, the Daughter of the Devil, and Saddle Rash. Just from these 4 shows, it was clear that a unique style and voice was emerging. One rooted in improvisation, quirky animation, dark humor, and the beautiful baritone voice of H. John Benjamin.
I came out here to pee for a while.
I'm doing a knock-knock joke.
Okay,
knock.
Hello?
What do you mean, hello?
Sorry about calling so late last night. But I had drank 4 apple teenies. This is really anticlimactic.
Dr. Katz pioneered a bizarre style of animation referred to as squiggle vision. The industry standard for film and TV has been 24 frames per second for almost 100 years. Most traditional animation will animate on 2s, meaning they're only really creating 12 frames per second, and doubling each frame up to fill in those 24 frames. But squiggle vision made it even easier on the animators. They would loop 5 slightly different drawings over and over again. Unlike traditional animation that focuses on smooth, fluid animation, squiggle vision had jittery, hand-drawn lines, constantly in motion, that gave the illusion of movement. It was fast, cost-effective, and definitely gave the show a distinctive look. But it also complemented dialogue-heavy shows by adding a bit of visual flair, and allowed room for improvisations in the dialogue since the characters were mostly static. When Bouchard went on to create Home Movies, he brought squiggle vision with him, but quickly dropped the unique animation style after only the first season, because of growing frustrations with its limited capabilities. I mean, there is a definite visual fatigue with the style.
All right, let's explore that.
What the hell's wrong with you? Your skin's like moving around or something.
I believe I'm having some sort of seizure.
But that didn't stop Bouchard from continuing on with weird animation styles and bizarre character designs in his shows. And these only complemented the chaotic plot lines and often dark humor of these shows, like a cowboy with no arms and a rebellious college student who just so happens to be the Antichrist. All of these elements led to the creation of Bob's Burgers. Well, maybe not the version that we all know and love today, but definitely the darker version of the show that Bouchard first pitched to Fox. The version where they're all cannibals.
You think I bought a ring and put it on this woman's finger, and that's the way I'm gonna give you a gift?
Bob, you're a goof!
Bouchard was coming from Adult Swim, where it's common to include weird, twisted elements into the show in order for it to stand out and get picked up. The story would have had the Belcher family stealing bodies from the crematorium next door and turning them into burgers, kind of like a modern-day Sweeney Todd. Very early on, Fox said, "Well, do you need the cannibalism?" I had really put it in there because I thought they would want it. I'm coming off of working for Adult Swim, and the darker, more shocking aspect seemed like what you needed in order for an animated idea to cut through the noise. It's the kind of bizarre idea that sounds unique and different, but definitely doesn't have the same kind of longevity. What really inspired the shift away from cannibalism was the vice president of comedy development and programming over at Fox, who said, "Lauren, do you want to do 100 episodes worth of cannibal jokes?" Bouchard wasn't used to thinking about the long game, concepts that are still interesting and funny after 100 episodes. All the shows he created never lasted that long. A pilot episode that wasn't picked up by Adult Swim, Lucy, the Daughter of the Devil, only ran for 11 episodes. Home Movies was his longest running show that he created at 52 episodes. And like I mentioned earlier, even that show had to ditch the squiggle vision aesthetic to make it more palatable for viewers. Bouchard's voice and style is so unique, it just needed to be honed in a bit, tuned and perfected. When you compare the initial pitch, the demo, and the eventual pilot episode, Human Flesh, you can see that a lot of the elements that made Bob's Burgers great were there from the very beginning. First and foremost is the ad-libbing, improvisational feel of the show.
Ow! I almost had a heart attack.
That's scared. That's not surprised.
Ow!
That's like you hurt yourself.
Dr. Katz and home movies were largely improvised, which is a big reason why they utilize squiggle vision animation, since it allowed the animators to quickly capture the essence of these largely improvised scenes. It allowed for more creative freedom.
You're beautiful.
All right, so in that situation, Brendan, I'm going to kill you. What you did there was more weird.
Bob's Burgers adapted and refined a lot of these methods. Most cartoons have a locked-in script, where actors come in one at a time and read the lines verbatim. Bob's Burgers has the actors recording together at the same time, and with that comes awkward interruptions, stutters, and reactions that make the dialogue feel more natural and conversational.
Lauren really encourages improvising, which we couldn't do if we weren't all doing it together.
Unlike a lot of cartoons where actors record alone, we mostly record everything together. Even though half of us are in one studio and the other half are across the country in another. We do each scene a few times and often get to add our own jokes and lines or play off each other, but most of what you see is the script the writers wrote. Usually the first 2 takes we stick to the script, and then the third take we'll have a little fun. And Lauren is very patient in letting us go and have fun with that moment. Another element that was there from the very beginning was this style of comedy that Bouchard refers to as foxhole humor. And Bouchard uses this foxhole humor almost as a defense mechanism for the Belcher family, so they can bond and find solace in each other, no matter the bizarre situations they find themselves in. And that dynamic starts with the core relationship of Bob and Linda Belcher. Part of the core of their relationship, in my opinion, is humor. It's not ha-ha humor the way they use it. It's more like foxhole humor, the kind of humor that I imagine doctors in emergency rooms have. The show wouldn't work without Bob and Linda at the center of the madness. Their relentless devotion to each other allows for honesty in these morbid, difficult situations. "Oh my God" is practically a catchphrase for Bob, who has no problem voicing his frustrations and annoyance with his family, but we never doubt that Bob loves his wife and kids. There's almost a warped but still heartwarming solidarity with the Belcher family, and in that is a sense of resilience and connection.
Unless you lived inside of Mom, you can't mess with Tina. We're Belchers, from the womb to the tomb.
And the last element that's been there since the very beginning is just a general sense of chaos. Chaos with the characters and chaos with the storylines. The fact that Linda and Tina are voiced by men will never not be funny and perfect. Whoever decided to change Daniel in the demo to Tina and just keep the same voice deserves all the medals. There's constant squabbling.
Dad's freaking out.
I'm not freaking out.
Totally freaking out.
Shut up! Get out, Teddy! Get out!
Stylized animation and music cues.
Cows can't go downstairs.
And an ensemble of characters that seem to get more and more unhinged. The first few seasons were full of storylines and jokes that felt a little more edgy, teetering on bad taste.
Okay, how many now?
Bob. 3.
No.
Ugh, you're the worst kind of autistic.
Or at least something not appropriate for kids. And that's what made it such a fun and unique watch. In the pilot episode, Human Flesh, an obvious wink to the original concept about cannibalism, there's one of the edgiest jokes of the entire series.
The burger of the day is the child molester. It comes with candy.
Did someone actually order this?
Yeah.
Who?
Him.
He looks like a child molester. Louise, don't serve him. Let Jean bring it.
This is the perfect example of the type of unique humor of Bob's Burgers. This is what made the show feel unique. But here's creator Lauren Bouchard talking about this one specific joke. Well, obviously, we started out with the least safe, edgy joke we ever made on the show, the child molester burger. And since then, we've toned it down. And that right there is my biggest issue with modern Bob's Burgers. Toned down.
Sex. I'm good at sex, you're bad at sex. I'm good at sex, you're bad at sex. I'm good at sex, you're bad at sex.
This is a clip from the season 3 episode Nude Beach. Just another example of the kind of weird and offbeat humor that Bob's Burgers was known for. But it's also a moment that sparked a change in the style of comedy that Bob's Burgers would have moving forward.
We didn't originally make it for kids. It's a family-friendly show. This very nice parent at preschool said, come here, I want to tell you a story. Our sweet little angel was on the back porch, as loud as he could, yelling, I'm good at sex, you're bad at sex, I'm good at sex, you're bad at sex. And I understood suddenly perhaps a responsibility to these families that are letting their younger kids watch it, and I'm one of those families.
All of a sudden, this show that proudly wore its weirdness and dark humor on its sleeve suddenly felt a responsibility to the kids watching at home. Characters, storylines, and even the animation style was all toned down. And because of that, Bob's Burgers kind of lost its edge. I've talked about Flanderization on the channel before. The term derives from Ned Flanders on The Simpsons. Basically, it's used to describe when a fictional character's personality devolves over time to the point where a well-rounded character turns into a one-dimensional caricature defined by a single trait or quirk. What's funny though is that Bob's Burgers seems to be going in the opposite direction. If anything, they've taken one-dimensional characters and tried to inject multi-layers and emotions that should be celebrated. One of the many reasons why The Simpsons has declined over the years is because they lost all sentimentality. Bob's Burgers has done the opposite, by over-relying on sentimentality to the point of losing all of its edge. The characters have all become multifaceted, but at the same time, they've also become watered-down versions of themselves, practically losing all the aspects that made them feel unique in the first place. Take Louise, for example.
Come here, hug for luck. You freaking idiot! You don't hug for luck in the theater!
In the early seasons, she was intense, chaotic, and mischievous. She was the wild card, always ready to scream, scheme, and slap her way out of every situation.
You're so together! You have two children and a Louise to take care of!
But in more recent seasons, she's become the emotional core of the show. In Amelia, Louise talks about her hero, Amelia Earhart, noting that the successful failure helped grow confidence in countless women's stories. In The Amazing Rudy, Louise continues to show how much of an empathetic person she is by caring for her friend. And in The Plight Before Christmas, the episode I mentioned at the very beginning, Louise recites a heartfelt poem she wrote about her family.
But the best presents are sitting here, and they aren't even wrapped up.
On the surface, this character growth isn't a bad thing. These emotional episodes are some of the strongest of the series, but it just feels like a different show than the one I signed up for. All the rough edges have been smoothed away. It's safe and comfortable. The creators aren't trying to push the boundaries or teeter on bad taste like they used to. And because of that, unfortunately, Bob's Burgers has become bland and repetitive. And the biggest example of this came on May 22nd, 2022 with the Bob's Burgers movie, the day Bob's Burgers died. Adapting a TV show into a movie is the perfect opportunity to break the mold of the show and take risks, to do something you couldn't possibly do in just a half-hour runtime. Some perfect examples are Beavis and Butthead Do America, and South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
What's it like up on Earth, Saddam? Tell me about it again.
That's not talk. Let's get busy.
You take familiar characters and dynamics, but throw them into massive and bizarre situations. Most importantly, new situations that we haven't seen before. But most everything in the Bob's Burgers movie felt like something we've already seen before. Tina's crush on Jimmy Jr., Gene's musical aspirations, Bob and Linda struggling to save the restaurant. These are literally storylines that we've been following since season 1. Even the main plot of the movie felt painfully familiar. A musical murder mystery revolving around the Wharf and the Fish Odor family. Yeah, that's almost exactly the plot to the 2 Wharf Horse episodes at the finale of season 4.
Oh, nice things are nice.
Not interested.
Felix wants to tear down Wonder Wharf to build high-end condominiums. Grover wants to tear down Wonder Wharf to build a mega park. Felix tries to kill his brother Calvin in order to inherit the park. Grover tries to frame his cousin Calvin and kill Felix in order to inherit the family trust money. Bob gets involved and is almost killed. Bob and his family get involved and are almost killed. There's an action scene underneath the wharf involving drowning. There's an action scene underneath the wharf involving drowning. You get the point. One of the things we wanted to do with the movie was not go out, but to go deeper. To take the environments we already knew, like the wharf, Fish Odor's house, the restaurant certainly, and the apartment, and just literally go deeper in all of those places, rather than just adding environments and having our characters leave their home base. We just thought, there's more here. If we insist on it, we can find more. There's hidden spaces inside these environments that we've already seen on the series, and that's just fun. The entire movie just felt like this one big missed opportunity to try and do something new and risky and exciting. But Bob's Burgers has become overly comfortable with the familiar. And the show that was once edgy and weird, looking to push boundaries, has now become formulaic and predictable. I feel like I need to give Bob's Burgers some credit though. After 15 seasons, it's long past its peak, but it is absolutely watchable still, with great characters and an abundance of sincerity. That's what Bouchard and the creators seem to be more interested in these days. Not going wider into uncharted story waters, but going deeper and finding stories in the familiar. Bob's Burgers hasn't gone the way of The Simpsons and Family Guy, which are both walking corpses at this point, over-reliant on celebrity guests and shock humor. In toning down its weirdness over the years, Bob's Burgers has remained undoubtedly human, grounded in reality, familiarity, and the unshakable core that is the Belcher family. And after 15 seasons, it is still a good show. It's just not the same version of the show that I first loved all those years ago. Thanks everyone for watching, really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like it, share it, and leave me a comment below. Tell me the day you think Bob's Burgers died, or tell me if you think it's still great, maybe better than ever. Just in some way, if you could engage with this video, it really does help appease the YouTube algorithm gods to push this video to more people. I would really appreciate that. I haven't mentioned this, I think, on here before, but if you're not already, you can follow me also on TikTok and now Instagram at Entertain the Elk. Especially on TikTok, I try to post videos daily, if you just want to keep up with Entertain the Elk and the stuff that I'm putting out. I'm so appreciative of all you watching out there. Thank you so much for making Entertain the Elk part of your day. Thanks again, and I will see you all very soon.